to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Bernadette, and today we're talking about film related stuff. So the holidays are around the corner, literally not that far at all, and I thought, you know what, some people might be home, be chilling, watching movies. I wanted to do this a while ago, so it's good that I'm finally getting around to doing it. Don't mind me if I look glistening, because I'm sweating. It's so hot today. It's summer here in Australia. So what we're going to do is going to do movies that you can watch back to back. So this is stuff that I've done with my family, stuff that I realized myself that we watch back to back just naturally, stuff on TV. So this is all personal opinion and personal preference, because everyone's got their own music taste and music genre. So this is just basically like how we do things in my family, especially during Christmas time. We tend to watch these movies back to back together, but we also do this throughout the whole year. So some of these are going to be different genres, different age ranges, family to PG-13 to 15 plus and R, so keep note of that if this is watching it for the whole family. So let's get started.
Fashion is a lifestyle.
The first one we're going to start off with is actually a family favorite. This is like our basic. We always end up watching this back to back no matter what happens, just naturally. So it's Twister and Dante's Peak. Yay! Both came around about in the 90s, I'm pretty sure it is. Both are about like natural disasters, just different times and different types. So Twister's obviously a classic, it's like tornadoes. And then you've got Dante's Peak, which is like a volcano. Both great movies, both watched it 1,000 times over and can still watch it 1,000 times over again. If you've got little ones, I think maybe be careful, because there are some like sad scenes, I guess, and some scenes a bit like traumatic, or if you've been a survivor of natural disasters, this might trigger like some stuff. But I feel like a lot of people have seen this movie. It's pretty much a basic staple, and obviously it's great. Like, I never get tired of it. I could watch it 1,000 times over again. It's so good. So Twister and Dante's Peak for sure, number one at the top, 100%. We have something that's a bit more, I guess, whimsical and very spring, more coquette based, if you will. Think Paris, Texas, Lana Del Rey vibes. I really love this movie as well. This is also a movie that I grew up watching back to back a lot as a kid. It's one of my favorites. It's the 90s version of The Little Princess, and I think there's only one version, and the 90s version of The Secret Garden that's got Maggie Smith in it. That one we've also watched back to back quite a lot. It's really good. It's very sweet. This one's actually both a great like family friendly movie. Like I said, I grew up watching it as a kid, and then later as a teenager we just keep watching it over and over back to back. It has a special place in my heart. I remember doing an essay in English class about The Little Princess, and a line saying about like all girls are princesses. I do back to back all the time. They're both very family friendly. They both have a similar style and filming and aesthetic, and I always feel like the storyline was quite close with each other. And then I found out later on in high school that both stories are written by the same author, so it makes sense why the stories kind of seem very similar and the style and aesthetic is very much a lot alike. So there you go, number two. Next we have also, I guess, not end of the world scenario, but not like, you know, end of the world scenario, but more like just futuristic. Alien and Species, also really great series. I watched Species on TV and I was like, it's such a cool movie. It's such a cool movie. And then they had Alien afterwards and I was like, this is great to watch back to back. It's great. If you're into futuristic type, I guess, specimen phenomenon, that type of thing. Again, maybe not great for the kids because Specimen's a little bit violent. I mean, Species is a little bit violent, so is Alien. But I mean, I guess it depends. Like if you want something that's, I guess, it's a rainy day or it's a hot day, you spent the day out, you just got home, you want to relax, you got a couple of hours before you go to bed, you have room to watch 2 movies and you're just in that kind of like chill movie night in type of vibe. Definitely Species and Alien go great back to back. The first Alien movie, by the way, and the first Species film, it's really great to watch back to back. Both intense, both visually engaging. You don't get bored. It goes by very quickly. But also, again, if you're in an alien type mood, like space type thing, great to watch. Great. It make you feel so unsettled before, well, not really so unsettled, but it's just like, ew, what's out there? What are we going to create? Type of thing, you know? But still, a great movie. Pollyanna and Anne of Green Gables. Now, if you haven't seen Pollyanna, it's also a 90s movie. I'm starting to realize a lot of these flicks are 90s to 2000 movies. These are all great movies, okay? They're really good. I should also note that there's like so much more movies you can watch back to back, like in pairs, but this movie would go on like forever because there's just so many. So these are just like my top 20 like favorites and the ones that I've done over and over again just naturally. So Pollyanna is also a really cute movie. To watch someone too much back to back, you could also watch, I guess, Anne with an E if you want to keep the Anne vibes going, or you could switch it up for Little Women and Anne of Green Gables, the 90s version. That's the one I'm talking about, that Gilbert Blythe. Yeah, that one holds a special place in my heart. Oh my god. I remember watching Anne of Green Gables in primary school for the first time in class on like a little box. Like they rolled out the TV, little box TV. Hopefully it will bring some memories. And for those who don't know, it was like a little TV. It's like a square and had like a little antenna on top. We didn't have like a Netflix streaming thing, so you put the DVD in or like the VHS in, and then like we'd watch Anne of Green Gables. That's how I started. Yeah, and then I ended up watching the rest of it naturally on TV. Like it just came out like 6 or 7 years later, like spontaneously. So that's another great movie. I literally, that's just like with Megan Follows, the 90s and 80s one, like that's just, that's just like the cherry on top for Anne of Green Gables for me. I'm sorry. You could also do a trio and watch Anne of Green Gables, Secret Garden and Little Princess, because all three, aesthetic wise, visually and theme and context, it's all paced, like it's all very similar. So if you also like Secret Garden and Little Princess, you'll like Anne of Green Gables, the 90s one. If you haven't seen Anne of Green Gables, or you've seen Anne of Green Gables, you would also like the Secret Garden, and Little Princess. So there's that. Have another one which is, I think, great to watch back to back is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I think it came out in the 60s or 70s. And Mary Poppins, which also, the one with Julie Andrews, not the Emily one, the Julie Andrews one from also the 60s. So again, time period is quite similar. They're both whimsical, both colourful, bright, also both family friendly, both also musicals, like the doll scene in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and also just the car from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang just like sticks in my head like forever. It's been like years since I watched that movie, but I still remember the visuals of it because it's just that amazing. It's just fantastic. So if you like that kind of style, if you're looking for a more upbeat, whimsical, musical, colourful vibe that's like family friendly, definitely those two, Mary Poppins and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which I feel like is so underrated. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is so good. Gretel, the one that has Jeremy Renner in it, and Van Helsing. I feel like they came out maybe at the same time or close time periods, but like in terms of visual tone and like engagement and action and pace, I feel like it's quite similar. Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman, by the way, that's the one I'm referring to. I feel like they kind of go great. Like I feel like they're kind of like siblings in terms of like movies. I feel like they're just great in pairs. Hansel and Gretel is a really great movie. I've watched it so many times. I love the end credits. They're just amazing. It's so cool. And I guess the writing might not be like phenomenal or fantastic, but it's definitely something that I love to watch back to back. And it's definitely a movie that like has a bit more of a dark undertone, like vampires and stuff. They're both like witch hunter, gritty, a bit of steampunk influence a little bit in there. Like absolutely great movies for that kind of vibe, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. What about doing this one? This is also should be up there with number 3. This is an iconic one for me. Like we always watch this one back to back. It's the movie Stardust that has Claire Danes. I think she's in it, and Robert De Niro is also in it, and also the film Inkheart that has Brendan Fraser in it. Also great movies to watch back to back. They both have the same like whimsical vibe. They're both not dystopian. They're more like on a fantasy kind of take. Like everyone knows Stardust. I absolutely love that movie. It's so great. It's so underrated. I love it. It's literally so good. You could also switch up Inkheart for the movie Golden Compass that has Nicole Kidman in it. Be wary of the ending though, because that movie needs to be a TV show for real. And I really enjoyed watching that too. So that's all three of them, kind of the same as like Secret Garden and stuff. Like Inkheart, Stardust, and Golden Compass all have a similar visual aesthetic, pace, tone, theme is quite similar as well. Also great to watch back to back, like really good to watch back to back. Definitely family friendly. It's got more of a whimsical, upbeat vibe, but still very engaging, just very like cute, I guess, type of movie. That's also one I grew up watching a lot back to back too. I also love to watch, this is like a classic staple in like my household. Like this is a great family friendly movie. The tone is exactly the same. The visuals are very similar. They kind of have the same personality in terms of the way the films are developed. It's definitely Night at the Museum and National Treasure. Great movies. Both have like great comedic reliefs in them. Also not so serious. They're just fun, loving, like vibrant family movies that go by very quickly. Honestly, I think that is one of my favorite Nicolas Cage movies, like period. Like as a kid watching that movie and seeing that movie just like made me so interested in like history. It was like amazing. So definitely the Night at the Museum and National Treasure for sure. Direction a little bit. So obviously the new Hunger Games movie just came out, so this, you could also add this to the list too, but like I was thinking maybe the first Hunger Games movie or the second one, just the Hunger Games series, and Divergent. So I'm only saying that because I watched it at the same time they came out, and I just naturally just feel like watching it back to back. It'd usually be like the first Hunger Games movie and the first Divergent movie, just because the pace and the dialogue feels quite similar. The visuals kind of feel, I guess, in terms of that whole YA scene, into movies, book to movies. If you're looking for something that's quick, that's fun, maybe not fun with the Hunger Games, but that's like dystopian type thing. It's got more of a bit of like a moral and like ethical undertone. Definitely would recommend those two. If you're maybe the age of like 13 to 17 or maybe even 18 and you haven't seen them before back to back, definitely watch it back to back, because it's a totally different experience watching them separately. I mean, it doesn't matter what age you are, but like any age, like if you haven't seen them together before, definitely try back to back, because it's a totally different experience. You really feel sucked into the dystopian world, and you really do feel really engaged with that kind of society. So that's also another go-to. More, I guess, based on Greek mythology. So you've got Percy Jackson and the Clash of the Titans, which I actually really do love. Percy Jackson, I feel like, is more of like a teen take on it, which is great for like kids and family and whatnot. But Clash of the Titans is so good. So good. I've watched it so many times. I love when they come on back to back as well, because it really feels like you're so soaked into the Greek mythology. It's amazing. It's great. Both visually striking, does not feel tacky, it feels quite genuine. The pace is very fast, very good, both action-based movies as well, which is awesome. Yeah, so if you're really into like Greek mythology stuff and you're looking for something to feel like visually inspired, like I know it's not completely accurate, but just feel like that type of thing for a movie, Percy Jackson, the film of Logan Lerman, which I actually liked, by the way, in Clash of the Titans, which is great. I definitely have to watch them back to back. I could not think of another movie to watch back to back, because it just couldn't find anything that was as equivalent to it. Like, it's standard. The first, The Mummy, with Brendan Fraser, and The Mummy 2. Like, without a doubt, the first one and the second one were pretty good. The third one, I'm a bit about it. But like the first and the second one were pretty damn good. And the storyline follows quite well. We watched the first one so many times. I could still quote like bits and pieces and scenes to this day, but Also a great family-friendly movie. I mean, there are some parts that'll probably just be like watch full, but obviously everyone knows the movie. It's great. It's such an iconic movie. It's awesome. It's great during summer, which is amazing because it just accentuates the heat that you're physically feeling in real life. But I could not find another movie to pair it with that's just as good, like in terms of cast, soundtrack, visuals, pace, writing. Like the whole thing was just so great that I was like, you know what, just watch just back to back the franchise itself. Like The Mummy and The Mummy 2, absolutely great. Is Home Alone 2 actually, and the reason why I pick Home Alone 2, I feel like everyone would pick Home Alone 1, but I feel like because it's set like in the city and it's got a bit more of like action in a different way, like he's not in his home, he's like trying to survive in the city. I just feel like the tone is like kids rushing around during Christmas time type of thing, you know what I mean, like that kind of pace. There's a movie that I watched as a kid, I couldn't remember the name for the life of me. It was called, finally, it's called Unaccompanied Minors. It's also a great movie. Everybody hates Chris, that actor, he's in it. I can't remember his name, I'm sorry. But I didn't know so many people that like are kind of big now, like they were in that movie. And that's also a great movie about like, I guess, making the best of what you got during Christmas as a child. Also just like kids running around making a muck during Christmas. So I feel like they kind of have a similar premises like Home Alone 2 and Accompanied Minors, because it's just about these kids like stuck in this environment during Christmas and they're like, what can we do to make the most of it? So that's also a really great movie. It's also like family friendly, which is awesome. I feel like it's definitely a family friendly movie. It's just fun as well, like a fun family friendly Christmas movie, lighthearted, like just very, if you just want to sit, chillax during the holidays, like but still have like a Christmas vibe, like great movie to watch back to back. Great. They're great for like just that Christmas family vibe. I love that theme song so much. God. Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie back to back. Staples. Grew up watching that. His version of Annie, okay, the 80s Annie, with the film Curly Sue. I don't know if you guys remember it, but there's a movie called Curly Sue. It's about a girl and her dad, and it's during Christmas time, so it's not like Christmas marketed, but it's set during a Christmas time period. I guess most movies around Christmas are kind of like that. But like Annie and Curly Sue, Annie's obviously more musical based. Curly Sue, she doesn't really sing, like she sings here and there, but it's not a musical, it's more drama. And it's actually a great movie, Curly Sue, and they're both about these young little girls, big beautiful curly hair, and just about like surviving in the world, and do what they have to do to survive. Also family based, so I think it'll be interesting for like, I guess, people who haven't seen these movies before to explore topics like that about like orphan kids or like people who are just in not, I guess, comfortable circumstances growing up, like kids and stuff and their families. But it's not a conventional family type movie, but it's a great fun comedy kind of movie, a bit of singing, drama, just a like very light-hearted, light-toned like Christmas movie. I feel like they go great back to back. Like also as a kid watching them and like having the big curly hair was just like such huge inspiration because you didn't see that many like curly hair girlies in movies, especially as kids. So I really love the movies because of that reason too, but also just because the pace of it and just because the style of the movie is like really great as well. So this list these pairings could just go on like forever, no joke, this particular theme and genre. But I'm gonna do Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer just because that's what I've watched back to back. Sometimes we'll also throw in Faculty in there and Urban Legends, which is another great like 90s pair, which I love. I just feel like because at the time they were kind of like the iconic stars of the 90s and it just like chucked them all together in like a slasher film. And then they came out around the same time, I think, or similar time. So they also kind of had the similar voice for the movie, same tone, same visual style, fashion as well. I actually really enjoy watching that movie for the fashion, ironically enough. But they're also just great, like, slasher films in general, and they're just like iconic slasher films from the 90s. So Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, like, they're bestie films to watch back together. Literally just bestie. Legally Blonde for sure, and House Bunny with Anna Faris. I actually just watched that for the first time this year. I know, don't even come for me, like, it's embarrassing, but it's great. It's so funny. Both of them have like this like plastic image to the girls, but then there's like a more deep meaning to them. Like with Legally Blonde, it's like, hello, I'm not the dumb blonde. Same with House Bunny, it's like, hello, I'm not the dumb blonde. You know, they kind of like counteract the stereotype for like the whole dumb blonde thing from the 90s and 2000s. I mean, even older than that, but those are also great movies to go back to back. Also, if you love Pink, that whole Pink, like Y2K, pink girly, Playboy type aesthetic, I feel like both of those movies capture that perfectly. That got girly pop Pink type thing, which I loved as a kid. So watching those movies, I was like, that's gonna be me when I grew up. Didn't have a horror side, religious type aspect, like 1700s, witch trials vibe. Is probably Midsummer and The Witch. So this is more of a modern take. Everyone's seen these two. It's really popular, both well known. I both feel like they kind of have the similar pace. They fall under the same premise. Although Midsummer is more of like a more vibrant version. I feel like it's not as dark visually as The Witch is. But I feel like in terms of language, The Witch is more from the time. Obviously Midsummer is based on a like tradition culturally and religiously, so I guess this is probably more for like mature audiences, so not for family and not for kids. But if you're looking for something that's more on the premise of what the theme is and you feel like what could go next to watch after this one, definitely Midsummer and The Witch. They both kind of leave you just at the end just very stoked and kind of just thinking about everything that you've just watched for the last 2 hours or hour and a half. So those are definitely both visually engaging. The script is amazing, both of it too, storytelling wise. Pace is kind of slow a little bit, but it's not that much of a slow burn. It's still quite engaging. So if you're looking for something along those lines, on that premise, I definitely feel like those two are great, especially because Halloween just passed, but in a spooky mood, like, it's great. Awesome. Is more like natural disaster, similar to Twister and Dante's Peak. This one's actually thanks to my older sister, because I feel like we've watched it back to back because of her. But Armageddon and Deep Impact, both great to watch back to back. You can also switch Armageddon for 2012 or switch Deep Impact for 2012. They both go well back to back, like just in pairs. If you want like an end of the world existential crisis, great to watch it. Probably not with the kids, or if you're not really in a great mood, but if you're in that kind of like stoic, like, oh great, the world's ending, let's see how I will survive type state of mind, definitely Armageddon and Deep Impact is worth a watch back to back together. At the end of it, you definitely be thinking, okay, like what would my survival rate be like if this was me in both situations and scenarios? It kind of kicks off the survival brain, primal instinct a little bit, but definitely interesting to watch back to back. It doesn't really leave you feeling sad, because I feel like at the end it kind of just makes you think about the world and nature and us in it a little bit. So just for the sake of the franchise, but Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, obviously, to watch back to back. If you want to be more engaged in the world, I guess that whole world is definitely something great to watch back to back too. I feel like it doesn't matter really, because I'm not big in the franchise, like I'm not huge, but I do love the movies. I do love the writing, the visuals, the actors, the script, the tone, the pace. I just love it so much. I actually liked more of The Hobbit than The Lord of the Rings, but I did grow up seeing like The Lord of the Rings coming out. But I really did enjoy The Hobbit a lot more. But they're still both great to watch back to back if you want that Middle Earth kind of vibe, Middle Earth theme, aesthetic, visual, tone, pace. Like, they're both great to watch back to back. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you also watch these movies back to back together as well in pairs. Is there a movie that you like, one that you'll probably switch out for a different movie? Feel free to share this to your family and friends who are not sure or what to watch during the holiday season or just throughout the year. Any other people who like movies too, like, that's cool. Yeah, so I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
Fashion is a lifestyle.